Since we'll be leaving this place today, could you please move out? We'll also pay the $473 monthly loan. Now that my daughter is coming, we no longer need you. Okay, well then please take care of everything from now on. Even though we had supported our in-laws so much, they easily shifted their trust to the younger sister. As I reached the entrance, packing my belongings, I told them something very important. Oh, by the way, it seems there's a misunderstanding. The monthly loan repayment is— As I said that, their faces turned pale in shock. My name is Emily, a 35-year-old office worker. I've been married to Tom for 3 years. We met through a mutual friend who believed we'd be perfect for each other. This friend's intuition was spot on. We were drawn to each other from our first conversation. Tom also felt the same, and we began dating. We continued the relationship smoothly, and around 2 years later, he proposed to me. I was so happy as I loved him deeply. Both our families agreed to our marriage, and we had a wonderful wedding attended by many. We then went on a honeymoon and began our life together as a married couple. We both worked, so we shared household chores. Tom had lived alone for a long time and could cook, which was a huge help. Even when I was late from work, Tom helped me and started cooking so we could have dinner soon after. We cooperated in all household tasks, and life felt peaceful and stress-free. We were grateful for each other's company. In the blink of an eye, 3 years passed, and our bond remained as strong as when we were newlyweds. However, a significant event occurred. Tom's father fell ill suddenly, and we rushed to the hospital. Dad, are you okay? Tom, Emily, thank you for coming. Sorry for causing you concern. It seems I overexerted myself. He had been a workaholic, often working long hours, and as he aged, the stress of those years took a toll on him. For now, I'll undergo some tests and wait for the results. I see. Tom and I were anxious, but more than that, my mother-in-law was quite upset. For the mother-in-law who had always supported her husband as a housewife, it was understandable that she was upset when her partner, the mainstay of the family, was suddenly in mortal danger. Mother-in-law, are you all right? Yes, somehow. We cared deeply for both of them and began visiting them more frequently, trying to be as supportive as possible. After a week, the father-in-law's test results came out. Although he was released from the hospital, there were concerns about a recurrence. Realizing that they might not handle another emergency, Tom proposed something. Hey, what if we live together with my parents? The proposal was expected. If my parents were in the same situation, I'd want to live with them too. Of course, I'm okay with that. Let's discuss it with them right away, I said. Thank you, Emily, Tom replied. We quickly presented the idea to our in-laws. Live together? We want to be a burden, said my mother-in-law, wiping away her tears. It's not a bother at all. Emily and I are worried about both of you, I reassured them. Thank you, both of you. Music. Our in-laws, teary-eyed, gratefully accepted. They must have been quite anxious. We promptly moved in with them. My mother-in-law, knowing that both of us worked, took the lead in the household chores. Thanks to her, we could focus on our jobs. The father-in-law retired early and spent his days resting at home, which improved his health. We all got along wonderfully without any issues, and life was joyous. However, our in-laws made a certain proposal. I've been thinking about this for a while. How would you feel about building a new 2-family house? My father-in-law said. Huh? It's a bit small for 4 adults to live in this house, and if Tom and Emily have children in the future, it'll be even smaller. Considering the future, I've been thinking of building a bigger house where we can live comfortably for the rest of our lives. However, it's not something we can afford with just my savings. We will need to discuss and decide together. Tom and I were surprised by the proposal, but we thought it wasn't a bad idea. While the current in-laws' house isn't too small, it's not particularly spacious or comfortable either. Leaving here long-term might lead to stress building up between us. Perhaps buying a new house where everyone can live comfortably is a good idea. After discussing with Tom for a while, we decided to go along with the father-in-law's proposal. Subsequently, the four of us went to real estate agencies to look at various properties. We considered making it barrier-free for our in-laws and ensuring there are plenty of rooms if children come along. Ideally, it should be in a safe area close to both a hospital and a train station and have easy access to grocery stores. Given everyone's requirements, it seemed like it might be pricey. However, if we're going to live here for the rest of our lives, we don't want to compromise too much. Each family member shared the same sentiment, so fueled by determination, we decided to build our dream house, no matter the cost. After some time, our new home was finally completed. The exterior and interior were both new and beautiful, and just gazing upon it filled our hearts with joy. This is really amazing. I can't be sick anymore. I want to stay healthy and live here for as long as possible, my mother-in-law said. The in-laws seemed pleased, and my husband and I were equally excited. This is the house that will be with us for our entire lives. When we have kids, I want to play catch in the garden and have barbecues, I exclaimed. That sounds great. Let's make lots of family memories here, my husband added. We were overflowing with excitement and joy. Living in the house turned out to be truly comfortable, and it felt like the pinnacle of happiness. Being in a comfortable home made me even more enthusiastic about my work. Subsequently, my work went very smoothly. Both my public and private lives were fulfilling, and I genuinely felt grateful for buying this house. The months passed in the blink of an eye, and 2 years had passed in this house. We continued to have a good relationship with our in-laws as always, and we believed that the days ahead would be filled with happiness. However, at least this place for life in our new home, something unexpected happened. It was when my sister-in-law and her husband visited our new house. While this really is a nice house, it's not fair that only you guys get to live here, she said. What are you talking about? We discussed and decided to buy this house with our parents, I replied. But I can't help but feel envious. When we were still living in a cheap winter, it feels like you're living beyond your means, she retorted. My sister-in-law often visited our house during holidays and always expressed her envy. Every time she would accuse us of being unfair. We've been paying the mortgage for this house, and it's quite a hefty amount every month. We're living within our means, earning enough to pay for this house, so there's no reason for her to complain. If we were to live here with the in-laws, it would be so much fun, don't you think? What can you even know about the market for this house? My husband and I exchanged a glance. The sister-in-law probably just blurted out without giving it much thought. However, her careless words started to move my in-laws' hearts. It would be lovely if Canna could move and live here together, my father-in-law said. Yes, it would liven things up, my mother-in-law added. Hey, what are you two talking about? Haven't we been living together all this while? I said, trying to lighten the atmosphere. Oh, come on, I was just saying, the sister-in-law replied. Exactly, there's no need to panic, right? Ha ha ha, my husband added, attempting to diffuse the tension. While the in-laws tried to brush it off, it was evident that they were enticed by the idea of living with the sister-in-law. They seemed to have a particular affection for her. Even Mercer, their pet, went for her. She was a beauty with delicate features, looking like a doll since her childhood. 4 years younger than Tom, she was born when the in-laws were older, making them dote on her even more. This pampering had led her to become quite spoiled, and Tom had to deal with her demanding nature. Having heard all this from Tom, I was always wary of my sister-in-law. For a while after we got married, Tom and I were both caught off guard because she didn't seem to be causing us any trouble. However, recently, she had been increasingly eyeing our new house. Oh, Emily, you're back. Then I'll be leaving now, she said one day. Huh, I wish you'd stay a bit longer, I replied, trying to be polite, but hoping she would leave. But Tom and Emily might find it inconvenient, she said, pretending to be considerate.